Affordable housing remains a persistent issue for many Omaha families, with one housing group saying more people are paying too much for where they live.
We've heard a lot about this issue. Now a new apartment complex is hoping to offer a solution. First Alert 6's Ron Johnson shares why it's needed.
And on 3, just turn them and dump the dirt.
This dirt field could be the answer for families looking for affordable housing.
We have about 22,000 households in Omaha that make less than $25,000 annually. And for those people, an affordable rent would be about $429 a month.
Shannon Harner with the Nebraska Investment Finance Authority says the trend of higher prices for apartments started during the pandemic, and for many families, wages haven't kept up.
We want to provide people with a safe, affordable place to live where they can be able to engage in the community and not have to worry about housing as a potential risk in their life.
Developer David Wessner hopes a $60 million apartment complex will be the solution. The 156-unit building is going up near South 21st and Pacific in the Columbus Park neighborhood, and rent will be based on a range of income levels, starting at around 30% of the area's median income.
The affordability of housing is a crisis today, and for people to remain sheltered, is a very high priority.
Harner adds options like this also improve more than finances.
It allows the children in those households to have better food, to have higher quality childcare. The outcomes end up being far better for those families and then far better for the community as a whole.
For the 156 families expected to benefit from the new complex, as the first piles of dirt move, Hopes is moving with it. In Omaha, Ron Johnson, First Alert 6.
Construction on the new building is expected to be complete by mid-2027.